Sully, should I just hang up and you want to call me back? You want to start all over again?
I fumbled the snap there.
You fumbled the snap, and it went into the end zone.
Oh, man.
Let's go. As the kids say, let's go.
It's been that kind of morning, man. You just want to find a spot on the bench, hide your head, don't take your helmet off.
Sully, last night had to be the best night for high school football this entire season, and one in a long, long time, and you fumbled it. All right, let's get it together.
That's bad. That's a bad job by me.
That's all right. Here we go.
So what game were you at last night?
Hey, last night we were at Woodrow, Wilson, and Delsea.
Nice.
And,
Delsea with the alternate black jerseys. I like that look.
Yes, they had their alternate black look. The field was that's the best I've ever seen Delsea's football field. I mean, it was in great shape. Absolute best I've ever seen it. And homecoming for them it turned out to be just a great night if you were a fan of the red, white, and last night black. So, Delsea put a pounding on Wilson last night.
That's surprising. Wow.
Yeah, they put a pounding on him, and then like I told you last week, I don't want to play Delsea now. I shouldn't want to play Delsea, and that's exactly what happened. They ran the ball effectively as they usually, as they tend to do. They played terrific defense. They forced 4 interceptions. Basically it was anybody's game at halftime. It was 14-6, but second half Delsea just. They turned it up to another level, and really just took it to Wilson. And Aiden Bourget had himself another great night running the ball, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Delsea was really, really impressive.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, man, that Bourget guy, he's got to be at least in the conversation of the top 5 to 8 running backs in South Jersey at this point.
He is. I did a piece on him early, in the preseason, and. Big things were kind of expected out of him, and he's delivered. And, when Delsea runs that wing tee the way they do, and then flipping around triple option and, whatever you want to call it, it's tough to defend. And, they've got the athletes to really just make this whole system work. And, he's a kid who, he's not really a real big kid. He's got some decent size to him, but you'd look at him and you wouldn't say he's overpowering physically, but he really does the job for them. And they that's what they do at Delsea. They run the ball. So year in and year out, there's always at least 2 or 3 kids that all play a role in the process of them just marching up and down the field. And last night he did another real nice job.
And Kevin, when you play Delsea, you have to be almost mentally prepared to get punched in the gut for about 2 hours, because that's what's coming at you with that offensive line and all those misdirections, and they're pulling guards and just people running downhill at you. It's tough to be prepared for that mentally. You can prepare all you want physically, but mentally that's a grind as you get into that third and fourth quarter. Absolutely,
and there aren't very many teams that run that style anymore. But it's coming. Sal Marquez, he's not changing it.
Yeah.
He's just not changing it. It's coming, and he's basically saying, "Here we go. Try to defend me." And you can't. My guess is that you cannot simulate the Delsea offense in practice. You can do all you want to try to do it, but you can't do it. You can watch as much film as possible, but the problem is, it's when you get out on that field and everybody on that defensive team has got to be prepared and watching that ball and knowing what's going on, because one slip and they're gone. So was I surprised that Delsea won the ball game last night? No, I thought it would be. I thought Wilson would give them a little bit more of a challenge, to be quite honest with you, and I didn't see it. And there was once Delsea got themselves going and they just couldn't be stopped last night, and defensively, Nick Cargman threw 4 interceptions for Wilson. He ended up throwing for 280 yards in the game, but really it was a lot of short stuff, and Delsea did a nice job of containing him, putting pressure on him, and coming up with turnovers. So, I think Delsea right now, they'll have one more game regular season game. They don't have a bye, and they don't have a bye in their schedule, so they'll take on Clearview next week, and then the playoffs the week after that. So they're a team, like I said, if Delsea is the team that you end up getting in the playoffs, you better start doing your homework now.
Yeah, Delsea's one of those teams where the entire week the defensive coordinator is telling you as the middle linebacker, fill that B gap, and then you get in the first series, and all of a sudden you're like, Coach, there's a guard and a fullback in the B gap. There's two guys coming at me in that gap. What do you want me to do here?
Yeah, like I said, they're just very, very good, and they're very, very efficient.
So, Kev, how about that Camden RV game? Kind of a crazy finish. We didn't expect that. RV had a 17-point lead. Camden comes storming back. They win that game 30-24. Pretty nice win for Camden, a feather in their cap.
Yeah, that's a huge W for them, and it's a shame. Like we always say, you wish you could be at 4 or 5 different places at one time. And last night was a time when you'd probably want to be at a dozen different places. That's how good the matchups were last night. And you're at your game, you're looking down at your phone, checking to see some scores here and there. And when I saw that RV was up 17-0, I said, oh well, okay, kind of figured RV was gonna could win this game. And then next thing you know, it's like Camden's up. They've dropped like 20 some straight points on them or whatever it turned out to be, and that's a huge W for Camden. Camden's been coming on strong. They've only got one loss, but they've been playing extremely well. And with everything that happened last night, I think that I'm pretty certain that win is going to give them an opportunity for at least maybe a home playoff game in that first round in Group 2. And they're now, we've said before that, I kind of thought, everything goes through West Deptford in Group 2. Well, Cinnaminson knocks off West Deptford last night, and that's West Deptford's first loss in better than going back to, I think, you got to go back 2-3 seasons. So,
right.
But, everything that happened last night really just kind of throws a monkey wrench into a lot of different things. And but that Camden win, that's a huge win for them. Like I said, I think they've been playing well, but maybe people haven't paid too much attention to them. And I think that's the way they kind of prefer it. They got a lot of kids on that team really getting their first opportunity at the varsity level. They've kind of waited their turn a little bit, and now they're full-fledged varsity guys out there playing every play. Having done a nice job with those Camden kids. They're well disciplined on the football field, and they're handling their business. So, hey, that's it. Yeah, it's a stunner. I really thought RV could come in there and take care of business, but obviously Camden wanted to have a little something to say about it.
Talk with Kevin Minnick of SJVarsity.com. And Kevin, what was your impression of the Camden Catholic Holy Spirit game? Did you see that playing out the way it did? Always a tough game to come all the way down to Holy Spirit and win, but Holy Spirit really took it to them in the first half. I guess they were ahead at 30-3 at one point.
When I saw 30-3, I just kind of said to myself, "Wow." I think it's maybe a combination of a couple of things. One, I don't think people really get a good feel for Holy Spirit. I think they should now. I think Holy Spirit was a team that maybe people didn't think was as good as it really is. That the division that they're in is not all that strong. But they've gone out and they've won some games, and they've won some close games, and they've won some big games. And yesterday's a big game for them. And I think people will maybe start to show a little bit more respect for Holy Spirit. Maybe the people down in the shore area have a better feel for them than the people up on the up here, the northern end of South Jersey. But I think Holy Spirit is a team it's very, very good, and yesterday obviously proved it. On the flip side, Camden Catholic, they've had their share of I don't want to say easy games, but the competition level hasn't been as great as maybe for some other teams. And they've had some tough games. They fall behind against Shawnee a couple weeks ago, rally from 18 down to win that game. But there should be no excuses as far as it being, well, we had to make the bus ride down there and the kids, blah, 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 whatever it may be. 30-3 at halftime should have opened up some eyes for a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. And that's a tough loss for Camden Catholic. I gotta think. I gotta believe that they got to go back and reevaluate and look at themselves a little bit stronger, a little bit harder in the mirror, and figure out what's going on. Because if they want an opportunity in the non-public 3 playoffs to win a playoff game, they've obviously got to play a lot better than they did last night, and that's a wake up call for them. It's hard to believe that's their first loss in, I believe, 28 games against a South Jersey team. You got to go back a few years when they lost to Camden, but it's hard to say a wake up call for a team that has been as successful as they have in the recent years. But I think that's a serious wake up call for Camden Catholic.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that little reset button every once in a while when you are that successful.
That's true, and there are times when kids get a little bit, I don't know, they read some things, they hear some things. Maybe Aiden Bourget said it last night with Delsea too. They had some struggles in the beginning of the season, and maybe thought they were better than they really were. Started working harder, started doing things a little bit different, and they're seeing the results. Maybe that's a similar type of situation with Camden Catholic. So, I expect next game that they rebound from this and really kind of maybe use last night as a valuable learning experience, and come back out next game and get back to playing the kind of football that has enabled them to win as often as they have.
Talk with Kevin Minnick of SJVarsity.com. And Kevin, real quick before we let you go, we haven't talked too much about Devon Leary this year on this show, but man, what a career this kid is having. He just ran over 8,700 yards or something for his career. Just incredible numbers he's putting up.
Yeah, last night I don't know what the official number turned out to be or is right now, but last night he went into the game needing 238 yards to become the state's all-time leading career passer. He needed 3 touchdown passes to take over the state record in that category as well, and he tied that one last night. But Devon Leary, I did a piece on him this week. It's been a very emotional week for him and his family with the passing of his grandfather, and he kind of took this week much more personal. This became this game last night with Williamstown and all games moving forward now have become much more personal to him. He's always been he's a very humble kid, and he's always been one who is very team oriented. Always credits his offensive line. Always wants to brush off everything that people want to talk about Devon Leary, and every time you want to talk to Devon Leary, Devon wants to talk about everybody else. He is not never been concerned about what he's done.
Right.
Excuse me. It's always been what everybody else around him has done that has made him look good or has enabled him to enjoy the success. So, the kid, I said it when he was a sophomore, that this kid was going to be something special, and that he was going to be the type of kid that he's going to play major college football, and he's going to play on Sundays. And he's done nothing to discourage me from not believing that. And the kid just seems to get better and better all the time. I think next year as a freshman at NC State, he's probably going to redshirt, and that might be good for him to get a year under his belt of the college life and the college game. And then, boom, here's a redshirt freshman who could be a starter and go on and enjoy a 4-year career as a starter. So
yep.
A fabulous talent, a kid who just knows how to play the game. He knows how to throw the football. He knows how to direct his team, and he does it all with such humility. So there's still some time out there for people to get a chance to watch him play if they haven't got a chance to play. I think Timber Creek is still the team to beat in Group 3, and we'll probably be playing at Rowan, in the first weekend in December. So that's an opportunity for people to check him out too. But the kid is he's just a very classy kid, and one that as a football fan, as someone who goes out and watches games week after week, he's the kind of kid you want to root for.
Outstanding stuff as always, Kevin. We appreciate the time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy.
All right, Sully. Hope maybe we'll see you down at the St. Joe game.
Still trying to decide my schedule for the rest of the day, so I haven't made any set plans yet. Also got Cedar Creek playing Haddonfield, so that's a big game as well.
All right, well, big game this afternoon down at St. Joe against the Prep. I'm sure the place will be packed. And, another chance for the Wildcats to show everybody what they're made of, because I think St. Joe is a very, very good football team.
That might be an understatement.
Hey, have a good weekend, Sully. Thanks again.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it, man.
Take it easy.
That was Kevin Minnick of SJVarsity.com. Check out his website and all the work he's been doing this fall out on his own now.